Is the weekend update edition of Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. I'm Maurice Patton, that's Wade Neely, and we are efforting so that Chris Yao will be visible as well. The three amigos in the Lee Company studios here in Columbia today, getting ready for the weekend. Big show. We will be visiting in the next hour with Nashville Cats coach Dean COKINOS. They just finished up their first full week of preseason practice, getting ready for their April 27th season opener and inaugural?
Yeah.
Re-inaugural?
Relaunch? Yeah.
Cats 2.0.
Now you're on to something. I like that a little bit.
3.0. That's right. My fault. I forgot one. Yeah. Cats 3.0 inaugural season opener on April 27th. At Municipal Auditorium. So yeah, we'll be talking to Dean COKINOS in the second hour. In our next segment, we will have our weekly visit with a Nashville Sounds personnel. And I guess it'll be play-by-play announcer Jeff Hem as the Sounds continue their 6-game series down in Memphis tonight. They've got a doubleheader starting at 5, so we'll be checking in with Jeff. Talking a little Braves, very little Braves in light of what happened yesterday. But, yeah, we are kind of obligated to talk Braves every day during the baseball season. So we're going to do that. Also, a little Astros.
Very little. Yep. Same boat.
But there was an interesting development in Major League Baseball here in the last 24 hours. And I want to kind of get to that for just a second. So we'll touch on that later in the show. I think there has been white smoke out of Lexington.
And that's an important distinction because it's not smoke from burned couches.
It's not, but it could very well be.
As the sun goes down tonight and as we descend into the weekend, yeah, be on high alert in Lexington.
You know, I mean, they say you can't go home. And I'm not sure if Mark Pope can. They have not rolled out the blue carpet for him. Let's put it that way.
No, it has not been a pleasant 24 hours, especially if you dabble into social media by any stretch. If you're
and he probably shouldn't.
Yeah, I would probably steer clear of socials.
I will tell you who else probably shouldn't. It's Mitch Barnhart.
Oof.
But we'll talk more about that later in the show. It's plenty to talk about. So, yeah.
Glad you mentioned that. I got a crazy theory that I've heard getting floated around on the internet that I'll bring up
at the appropriate time.
At the appropriate time. And as soon as I said that, really, when you're talking about Kentucky basketball, it's kind of like Alabama football. Nothing is really too crazy, far-fetched, or too crazy, but I'll make sure to bring that in as well later.
Absolutely. Yeah, you still efforting, I take it? You're muted. You're muted.
Can you hear me? That is the question.
Try
Do
again.
I need to talk louder?
I don't know if you need to talk louder or not because producer Mark says we are way too loud. So I am.
Yeah, y'all are way too loud.
Well, I'm sorry.
It's Friday, man. We're excited. What more do you want from us? We'll get all that squared away. But like you said, Mo, it's going to be a good show. And
theoretically.
Well, the content of the show is going to be great. And once we get
I can't hear anything.
Once we get a few little
there we go.
hitches in our giddy up, kind of as it were, squared away, I think we're going to be situated just fine.
Well, I hope so. We'll see.
And then obviously we'll get into the weekend highlights. It's going to be a big sports weekend. There's a lot to dive into. Kind of a feel-good Friday, honestly. It is windy as all get out right now, but there are promises, borderline promises from the meteorologists of the world that this weekend is going to be a gorgeous one here in Middle Tennessee.
You know, Bree Smith is my girl. I watch her every night at 10 on News Channel 5. Shameless plug there. I don't mind saying it. But she said, y'all are getting to the 80s this weekend, and once you get there, you're going to stay there. And I made that distinction because I won't be here.
Well,
we'll talk more about
hopefully
that.
We can keep that in your absence next week. But.
Absolutely, yeah. So, going to be a great weekend. Looking forward to it. Speaking of the weekend,
Yeah. Hey, there we go.
There we go.
Hello,
I have
Dr.
no
Yeah.
idea why that worked, but I didn't change anything on my end, just on yours.
Well, I don't know what needed changing because I ain't touched nothing.
Well,
Because I don't touch nothing.
It appears,
Because I don't know how to fix it.
It appears
Yeah,
we figured it out.
Some sort of trickery and wizardry he just pulled right there. I
Well,
think.
you know, when you know what you're doing, you can do that kind of thing.
The crazy thing is, I don't know that he necessarily knew, but we're in crunch time, so we're
We're
grasping at straws. Sometimes desperation is the best motivator.
Hello.
That is true.
With that said, I think it's probably time to wade into yesterday's results, such as they were, and this weekend schedule on the rundown.
This is the Rundown.
Hey, folks, the Friday Rundown is brought to you by Chip Walters of Exit Realty, Bob Lamb and Associates. The Blue Raider Voice also wants to be your trusted advisor in real estate. So contact Chip at 615-542-1915 or visit his website at choosechip.net. Chip Walters, proud to support youth sports across Middle Tennessee.
Very limited high school schedule on Thursday. A handful of baseball games, including Oakland defeating Smyrna 7-4, Page with a 7-1 win over Franklin, Rossview down Goodpasture 11-1, and it was Tullahoma 10, Stewart's Creek 4. On the small diamond, Station Camp defeated Canoe Lake of Pennsylvania 12-0. It was Davidson Academy 15, Goodpasture 8. Wow, shootout there. Nashville Christian with a 14-3 win over Ezel Harding, and Station Camp defeated Skowhegan of Maine 9-3. On the pitch, Donaldson Christian's boys defeated Mount Juliet Christian 7-0. Ezel Harding with a 3-1 win over Clarksville Academy. Goodpasture 1, Friendship Christian 0. Laverne 3-0 over Overton. Stewart's Creek 5, Mount Juliet 0. Loretto 1, Wayne County 0. Webb School 7, Middle Tennessee Christian 0. Hendersonville 9, White House 0. And Smyrna 6, Wilson Central 0.
Wow.
Right. Yeah. If you couldn't, well, I guess if you can't score, you can't win, right? Major League Baseball. Our teams did not fare well on Thursday. Braves fall to the Mets 16-4. Astros fall to the Royals 13-3.
Yeah.
And at AutoZone Park, the Sounds fell to Memphis 6-1.
Just no luck for the any of our baseball
None.
squads yesterday. But today's a new day. And speaking of today, it's time to get into the schedule. We are going to attempt to play some of these games. You may still just triple check before you head on out because I know some fields pretty waterlogged as this week has continued. But buckle up. 2 p.m. first pitch today between Knoxville Catholic and Murfreesboro Central Magnet. 4:30 now. Tonight, Whites Creek is going to travel to Cane Ridge. Waverly is at Creekwood this evening. Centennial will visit Father Ryan. Franklin Road Academy plays host to MBA. Maplewood travels to Lawson tonight. Green Hill is at Smith County. Riverdale visits Brentwood. Summertown is at Davidson Academy. Portland visits Gallatin tonight. Collinwood will be at Santa Fe. Joe Burns scheduled to travel to Springfield. Westmoreland is going to head north to Franklin Simpson, Kentucky. Out-of-state matchup there. These games now beginning at 5:30, including that one. Murfreesboro Central Magnet will play Science Hill tonight. Clarksville Academy is at Clarksville Northeast. University School of Nashville is at DCA at 6 o'clock tonight. Richland is also on the road tonight at Fayetteville at 6. Nolansville will visit Stewart's Creek. Cheatham County is at West Creek. And a 6:15 start tonight as East Nashville will take on Hancock County.
At 6:30, Boat Prep is at Battleground Academy. Summit goes to Columbia Central. Columbia Academy hosts East Hickman. Page is at CPA. Clarksville is at Dixon County, and Fairview plays host to Culleoka. Upperman is at Green Hill. Overton is at Harpeth. Hickman County is at Hume-Fogg. Kirkwood welcomes Greenwood, Kentucky. Shelbyville is at Lawrence County. Giles County is down over at Lincoln. Down over. Mm-hmm.
Down over.
Down over.
We knew what you meant.
I figured it out after I said down.
I mean, no down.
It's down from here.
And it's over.
It's over from there. So it's got a little confusing for a second. It's okay. Lauderdale County of Alabama will be up at Loretto.
There we go.
Forest is at Spring Hill. Ravenwood's at Station Camp. White House Heritage goes to White House. Independence at Beach. Ravenwood Station Camp, White House Heritage, and White House at 7. Also at 7, Independence at Beach. John Overton's at Harpeth Hall. Not in baseball.
Nope.
Well, maybe in baseball. I don't know.
Nope.
Harpeth Hall doesn't play baseball. I can't imagine. Rockville is at Siegel at 7. So.
Is it my turn?
It is.
Okay. Saturday baseball. 9 o'clock, Powell plays Murfreesboro Central. I'm sorry, 9:30, Powell plays 9:30, Powell plays Murfreesboro Central. 10:30, Clarksville Northwest is at Gallatin. At 12 noon, it's Christ Presbyterian at Creekwood. Also, Franklin is at Mount Juliet. Daniel Boone plays Murfreesboro Central. East Nashville plays Rockwood. Blackman is at Wilson Central at 12 noon. At 1, Lipscomb Academy is at Pope Prep. Also at 1, Smyrna is at Riverdale. At 2 o'clock, Green Hill hosts Clarksville. Kirkwood goes to Greenwood, Kentucky, and Bowling Green Davidson Academy is at Loretto. Clarksville Academy is at Mount Juliet Christian. Wayne County plays at Mount Pleasant. Rockvale hosts Stewart's Creek. At 2:30, Overton goes up to Father Ryan. Jackson Christian is at Middle Tennessee Christian at 2:30. At 3, Warren County travels to Gallatin. At 4, Columbia Academy hosts Portland. 5 o'clock, Silverdale Academy out of Chattanooga plays at Middle Tennessee Christian. At 6:30, Hendersonville is at Friendship Christian. Also at 6:30, Richland goes down to Lawrence County. Times undetermined on Saturday, Heritage Christian of Alabama is at Eagleville, and Cookville is at Rossview.
Schedule for today, now we go to softball action as Taft, Illinois visits Station Camp. That game is already underway as we speak. Also just getting underway, East Nashville and Smyrna, again, we're scheduled to begin at 2 p.m. Bishop Chatterd out of Indiana is set to take on Brentwood Academy at 4 o'clock tonight. Independence and Eagleville will get it on this evening. Creekwood and Forest will tangle. Macon County will take on Friendship Christian. White House visits Rockvale as St. Cecilia Academy travels to Grace Christian Franklin. That game begins at 4:30, as does Friendship Christian at Lipscomb Academy. 5 o'clock window, Richland is at Columbia. Liberty Creek is on the road at DCA tonight. Loretto is at Zion Christian. 5:30 start times now for Page at Centennial. Bishop Chatterd again in action versus this time Cheatham County. Also at 5:30 tonight, Green Hill versus Columbia Academy. Wilson Central versus Independence. Lincoln County will take on Nolensville. Siegel will host Riverdale tonight. Love this one, folks. A 5:50 first pitch between Clarksville Northwest and Clarksville. Just
5:50.
5:50, not 5:45, not 5:30, not 6,
six.
just 5:50. So buckle up. That'll be a good one again. Clarksville Northwest at Clarksville. And 6 o'clock tonight, Cornersville is meeting Eagleville. And at 6:30 tonight, it'll be Smyrna versus Stewart's Creek.
At 7, White House and Collierville will play. Forest and Brentwood also at 7, as well as Brentwood Academy in East Nashville. Creekwood, Hendersonville, Macon County, Joe Burns, Carnes, Rockville, East Nashville, and Cheatham County at 8:30. Columbia Academy in Nolensville also at 8:30. Wilson Central at Easel Harding. Green Hill, Lincoln County. Stewart's Creek's at Joe Burns. Nashville Christian is takes on Carnes. And Providence Christian is at Cannon County. On Saturday at 9 a.m., it's Creekwood and Brentwood. Brentwood Academy in Cheatham County. Gorham, Maine, and Station Camp. It says at Gorham, Maine, but probably not. Forest and Hendersonville, Collierville, Rockville, Carnes, and White House, as well as at 10:30 East Nashville and Bishop Chatterd.
Sure.
Of Indiana, Wilson Central, Eagleville, Easel Harding, Independence, Lincoln County, Columbia Academy, Marshwood, Maine, and Station Camp at 1 o'clock. Also at 10:30 is Green Hill, Nolensville. Going back to 1 o'clock, Eagleville, Riverdale, Columbia at Shelbyville, and times unknown for White House and Carnes. On Sunday, it's Blackman at Community at 3 and Riverdale at Oakland at 3.
Boys soccer action today at 5 o'clock. Providence Christian plays at Columbia Academy. Also at 5, Tullahoma is at Murfreesboro Central. At 5:30, Easel Harding goes to Cane Ridge. 6 o'clock, first touch for Huntington at Clarksville Northeast. Also Franklin County at Lawrence County. Martin Luther King hosting Montgomery Bell Academy. Giles County is at Spring Hill at 6:30. Christ Presbyterian Academy goes to Father Ryan. Also, Henry County is at Kenwood. Dixon Academy is at Zion Christian. And no. Okay. Dixon Christian is at Zion Christian at 6:30. There we go. Another 6 o'clock start is Wilson Central at Gallatin. At 7, White House is at Beach. Page goes to Brentwood. Coffee County hosts Columbia Central. Dixon County is at Fairview. Riverdale taking on visiting Blackman. Rockvale goes to Siegel, and Macon County is at White House Heritage. On Saturday, Father Ryan plays at Brentwood. That's a 7 o'clock start.
That rounds out the preps. Let's get into pros. NBA action tonight. The Grizzlies, I believe it's their home finale tonight, will host LeBron and company. Lakers desperate for a win. That game will begin at 7 p.m. on Bally Sports South. Grizzlies back in action. I stand corrected. They immediately get a home game versus how forgetful of me. They get maybe I just wanted to forget the fact they have the defending champs coming in. The Nuggets will be at the Grindhouse at 2:30 on Sunday. That game can also be seen on Bally Sports South. Doubleheader this weekend, as it were, for the Preds, beginning tonight with a 7:30 puck drop in Chicago versus the Blackhawks. Game can be seen on Bally Sports South. Blue Jackets will visit Smashville tomorrow night. Anybody got a start time handy on that?
Blue Jackets and Preds? Is that what you said?
Believe
tomorrow.
I would assume they're playing a night game tonight. They're going to play a night game tomorrow. As soon as I say that, of course, it'll be
Blue Jackets and Preds, 7 o'clock tomorrow.
Thank you, Mo. It'll be a 7 p.m. puck drop tomorrow night. Also can be seen on Bally Sports South. MLB action today. Braves at Marlins, 6:10 is your first pitch. Game can be seen on Bally's. Rangers at Astros tonight, 7:10. First pitch. Game can be seen on MLB Network. Tomorrow, Astros will play first, but only by a little bit. They begin at 3:05 in that game 2 versus the Rangers. Game can be seen on FS1. Braves at Marlins tomorrow at 3:10. If you're one of the few people that can actually get Bally Sports these days, you'll be able to watch it there. Sunday, the Braves are at the Marlins at 12:40. Insert comment about Bally's here. Sunday also, Rangers at Astros. That game can be seen on Astros local TV or MLB TV beginning at 1:10. Wrapping it up, the Sounds are in action all weekend long at Memphis. We'll talk more Sounds in this show. They begin tonight at 5:05, excuse me.
That's a double dip.
Double dip tonight. Thank you, guys. Saturday will be a 3:05 first pitch, and they will wrap up the weekend at 1:05 on Sunday. Again, all those games being played over in Memphis. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the rundown.
As usual, your top story is brought to you by Piggly Wiggly out in Neely's Mill here in Columbia. Be sure and check out their delicious daily deli lunch options, as well as their hand-cut meats, and everything is cost plus 10% at the cash register. Piggly Wiggly, Neely's Mill, Columbia, bringing you our top story. And yeah, we had Chris Hughes, we had Nick Harvey from the Nashville Nighthawks on here a few weeks ago in anticipation of the 2025 American Flag Football League season, which was going to begin on April 27th, actually, with 4 teams, Nashville, Boston, Dallas, and Las Vegas. Well, the league put out a release yesterday evening. Reading here, the AFFL is committed to delivering the best possible experience for our fans, players, and coaches. After thoughtful consideration and in consultation with our partners, we have made the decision to launch our inaugural men's and women's professional seasons together in the spring of 2025 with more teams, games, and home cities. These strategic changes will create a more competitive and exciting AFFL, which maximizes attendance and viewership and builds on the unprecedented momentum of women's sports. We believe these changes will benefit the long-term growth of the league and further develop a passionate, community-oriented fan base. Together, we will realize the tremendous opportunity and excitement surrounding the sport of flag football for years to come. It's a lot of words to say the AFFL is not playing this year.
And, you know, I'm checking out this Facebook post, and the top post says it best. It stinks for the guys that have been putting in the work. I mean, It stinks for the fans, of course, but it really stinks for the guys that were really
Planning to play?
planning to play. I mean, you know, we had talked about some of the locations that they were potentially going to be traveling to for some of these. Maybe plans have already been made.
Maybe tickets have already been bought.
Exactly. A lot of
Both plane and spectator.
yeah. So I mean, this is kind of late in the game to unfortunately. There is another comment here that says, "Was this released on April 1st?" They're kind of hoping it was an April Fool's joke, but sadly, this is not an April Fool's joke.
No, this was, like I said, this was yesterday. So, very intriguing. And you wonder, this is the league's release.
Mm-hmm.
So there is something that we don't know. And I'm going to defer to Mr. Minor League Football on this one.
I mean, this is about as minor league football as it gets. I mean, it's simple that there wasn't enough money. I mean, you get into a point where you start thinking that, okay, if we just go ahead and do it, if we build it, they will come. Well, that doesn't always happen, and rarely does it happen. Not does it always happen. It almost never happens.
And really, when you do something like this, don't you have to have enough money to lose it? I mean, I don't, so I can't relate to that concept. But
I mean, so the what I think is a little unique about the AFFL is they are kind of connected to the 7-on-7 NFL, not NFL play, but they're connected to that like Pro Bowl thing.
mm-hmm.
And so I'm really confused how this could have happened. I mean, that's what it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, as you know, they've been kind of doing American flag football for a long time. They've just not done it at a professional level.
Right.
I mean, Chris played in this league. This is the league Chris played in with the Mean Machine.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand what the problem is here, other than they just didn't have enough money to pay these players.
That's not a small other than.
Sure, obviously, but I mean, how did you not know that going into the season?
That's what I'm wondering. When the finances, and again, I'm not a business guy by any stretch, but you pretty much probably are going into this assuming either a big loss, or you're assuming
Or a small loss.
or a small
or
loss.
a bigger loss.
Yeah. But the fact that you've had to cancel this close to the season means that either you really overshot your goal or your target. Something had to have happened financially, right? I mean, I don't think there's any sort of scandal or anything. I mean, I'm personally not going to dig in the weeds too far to really maybe investigate that realm. We'll leave that for Dr. Yao. But it just seems like, just did not potentially budget properly. And now that we're so close to the season, almost as if the league office or the potential clients came up and said, hey, well, we're going to need that first, payroll issued, or we're going to need that first, invoice turned in.
Or some facilities.
Similar concept, right? I mean, they could have said, hey, it's about his 2 weeks, they're ticking the watch. There's 2 weeks,
What's the Judge Judy meme
Yeah,
or whatever?
where's your paycheck? So it's obviously unfortunate. Yeah, you hate it for the guys and ladies that were really putting in work to get prepared for this. And the crazy thing is, as we'll talk a little bit more about, as we put it, minor league football on this show, how many times we've seen it? This is a potential stepping stone, in the sense that literally it is like the minor leagues. A lot of folks were maybe hoping, hey, if I have a good showing in this season here, maybe I get a random call to join the Arena League the next year. Maybe the UFL comes calling the next year. And then from there, who knows where that really goes. So that is the part that's really ultimately disappointing.
Absolutely. So again, no Nashville Nighthawks on April 27th at the Vanderbilt soccer/lacrosse facility, unfortunately, because I think we were a little excited about that. But what we can be excited about is when we come back to the Lee Company studios after this break, we will be joined by Nashville Sounds play-by-play announcer Jeff Hamm. coming to us from AutoZone Park down in Memphis, where the Sounds continue their series. So stay with us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia after this.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
The weekend update edition of Main Street Sports Today, presented by TOA of Columbia. And hail, the gang's all here. Maurice Patton, Wade Neely, Chris Yao. And we are now joined by Sounds play-by-play announcer, Jeff Hem, who got a unanticipated day off earlier this week down in Memphis. Jeff, how's it going, man?
It's going well, guys. Hello from Memphis, where it is beautiful, it is sunny, it is dry. It's a good weekend so far here as we kick it off.
Is it warm?
It's warm enough. It's in the 60s. Yeah, I'll take that, considering we've had plenty of 40s and 50s temperatures in the first 2 weeks of this season in various cities, including Nashville. So I wouldn't call it hot, but it is warm enough. It's a beautiful day.
Okay, well, good. Well, hopefully the Bats will warm up then after that 6-1 loss last night following the 15-2 win to open the series on Tuesday, and again the Wednesday rainout. So you guys have played what, 14 games now?
11.
11. Okay. What are we thinking? What are we feeling about the team 11 games in, or is it still too soon to tell?
Well, I've had those same conversations with different guys on my pregame show conversations, because as we all know, this is a game built on large sample sizes. And when you have small sample sizes, folks like us still try to draw conclusions. So yes, I think we are still very early in the season, but the numbers are the numbers, and the pitching staff has been terrific. It's been arguably the best staff in all of AAA by a lot of the numbers, and certainly the bullpen is the number one bullpen in all of AAA. And you need that typically early in the year, because even when some of the starters are allowed a higher pitch count, their efficiency is not always mid-season form. So we've seen some outings where the starters go about 80 pitches or so, but don't necessarily eat up a lot of innings with that. So you're leaning on your bullpen usually early in the year, and the Sounds have had a terrific one. So that's been good. And offensively, getting guys on base is not the problem. When the nights like last night happen where you only score the one run, there's traffic pretty much all night. This is an offense that rarely just gets dominated or goes down 1-2-3. So they get a lot of bites at the apple. Runners in scoring position, hitting has been what's held them back when those have happened. Rick Sweet has talked about it, that we know that strikeouts are up in baseball, just as an aerial view topic. And he would say, because I've talked to him about it, so I feel like I can sort of paraphrase for him. He would say that's okay in certain situations. You're down a run, 8th inning, 2 outs, nobody on, you got a power guy at the plate. Yeah, see if you can tie the game. If you strike out, good effort. There have been run scoring opportunities, though, where you really do just want to try to put it in play and see what can happen. The team did that last Sunday against St. Paul. They won 8-1. They were getting the barrel on everything in the rain here on Tuesday night. They won 15-2 in a game that didn't even finish 7 innings. And then last night was a little bit of a scaling back, and they had the 1 run late on a homer by Eric Haas. And it was overall a more quiet night for the offense. So 11 games in, we've seen a little bit of everything, which is not a big surprise when you've only played 11 games. I think this can be a really good offense. There's just a little bit of fine tuning to be done in certain situations, I think, is the way they're analyzing the run production so far.
Jeff, as you guys kind of get ready to put a bow on this road trip, you also get a nice homestand coming back next week, including a couple of nice giveaways, which are always obviously a beautiful staple of First Horizon Park. But it would be nice, I presume, to go in with a little momentum into this homestand coming up next week.
Well, and they're going to face Omaha, AAA for the Royals, and both the Big League Royals and the AAA Royals are off to a great start. So it looks like the Storm Chasers have a pretty good ball club that we're going to see. I think this week will tell a little bit more about what to look for as the season goes along, because the Sounds play the Redbirds 24 times this year. They play them more than anybody else that they'll play this year. They play Omaha just the 6 games. We saw St. Paul last week. That matchup is done. It's an interesting schedule every year because you're in a 20-team league. And so you get these kind of one-off matchups where you see a team and then you don't see them again. So when you see Sounds versus Redbirds, beyond just the intrastate rivalry, it's sort of like, all right, well, you're going to see these guys periodically over the course of the year. So, figure out a way to make sure you can handle them, and that'll tell you a lot about your ball club. But I'm with you. I think the bigger thing that stands out to me about the upcoming homestand is not so much the momentum. I think it's the opportunity for the team to get into a little bit of a routine. This is such a routine-dominated sport. And they had the 3 games in Toledo to start, and then the first really 3, almost 4 days of that homestand last week in Nashville. The weather affected the pregame work or the batting practice or the delays. Like, the weather was just a factor pretty much every day until it got to the weekend. Now they come to Memphis. Tuesday was wet, even though the game got played. There was limited on-field work. Wednesday morning, they were able to do a little bit on the field after the game had been postponed because the rain had not arrived yet. And then last night was finally a beautiful night with normal pregame work, and similar now today, except in a 6-game series here in Memphis, there are 5 different game times that are involved. So to the point next week at home, first 5 days, all night games at 6:35, and the finale in the afternoon on Sunday. So this team is 2 weeks into the season, and yet I don't know that you could say they're really into a nice routine yet, of the early work and taking the ground balls and getting the on-field batting practice and all the things that factor in that are easy for folks like us to kind of forget about. I think there hopefully is opportunity in the days to come for that part to happen. And then I think we'll see the on-field production translate when the pregame work is in a little bit better spot than where it's been.
Hey, Jeff, I got to ask you too, is this correct? You're a University of Iowa guy, is that right?
I am. You want to talk about Caitlin Clark? I'm ready.
No, sir. No, sir. I want to talk about the tweet heard around the world. The Durham Bulls were trolling the Iowa Hawkeyes. They scored 28 runs earlier this week, and they simply said that's as many times as Iowa football scored 28 all season. I mean, that had to cut deep a little bit, right?
Well, where do I start with the Durham Bulls and their social media and just the Durham Bulls as a whole? Let's see, what can I say here that won't get me into trouble?
Yeah, as polite as you'd like to be, of course.
I don't think he wants to be very polite.
Let me answer it this way. It's just par for the course that somehow in mid-April, we're somehow talking about Iowa football instead of, I don't know, back-to-back Final Fours and national championship runner-ups and the number 1 pick in the WNBA draft coming up next week. But, hey, the Durham Bulls do what they do. They have a little bit of snark on their social media. That's fine. But, I can tell you this. I am a very happy individual because I'm not thinking about Iowa football, and thinking about Iowa football usually makes my head hurt. So let's just move on to the next topic. How about that?
Well said, and nicely done. That's why you're the best in the biz, Jeff. Thank you for that.
Well, speaking of another topic, earlier this week, you guys at the Sounds did something really cool with a young man signing Lane Caldwell to a season-long contract. Tell us a little bit about Lane and what brought the Sounds obviously to do something like that.
Yeah, it was a really cool day at the ballpark last Saturday afternoon. We had a meet the team luncheon where season ticket members could come and interact with the team, and then we introduced Lane, who, to your point, Chris, signed a season-long contract to be an honorary member of the Sounds. The Sounds have a great partnership with Vanderbilt and Vanderbilt Health and their children's hospital. The players do multiple appearances and hospital visits there every year. And thankfully, the last few years, we've been able to have an honorary player every single year. And Lane has got an amazing story. Thankfully, his health is really good right now. He's had his battles starting back in October of 2022. But thankfully, his latest scans have all been cancer-free, and we pray that continues to be the case. But really amazing young man for that, obviously, right then and there. That's enough to make him an amazing guy. But he came out last weekend, and we introduced him, and Rick Sweet was up there, and they were having him sign the contract. And Rick, kind of under his breath, just said, "Hey, would you like to say anything?" And most kids are, no, I'm okay. Lane, he takes the mic and he thanks everybody, and he is not afraid, which is not surprising given the challenges that he's had to overcome. But I'm not taking any credit on any of this from a Sound standpoint. I was just happy to be along for the ride, to be around a kid like that. And so he'll be around the team as much as he can, coming out to take batting practice and just be around the guys. I know he said he's thrilled just to have that opportunity to be up close to professional ball players. And I know the team is inspired by his story. So it's going to be a fun friendship that gets formed. And thankfully, the Sounds have been able to have an honorary player now for a really post-COVID these last few years, usually one individual per season. And so we're looking forward to getting to know Lane a little bit more, but tremendous kid and a really powerful moment last weekend when he was introduced. And I I kind of hosted the luncheon and introduced the players, and then I read Lane's bio, and I had to kind of give myself a second with the lump in my throat just reading about it, and then everybody stands up and applauds, and there were not a lot of dry eyes in that room just because of what he's been through. His family was there. You could tell how much joy they had at just getting to be there, and that Lane is getting a cool opportunity this year with the Sound. So thanks for bringing it up, Chris, because that's the kind of stuff that you can't really even describe the fun and the value and just the opportunity that the game and the community bring together sometimes. And it's really fun to just witness it and be close to it from my vantage point.
Jeff Hem, the play-by-play voice of the Nashville Sounds, joining us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by TOA of Columbia, as he does on most road trip Fridays. Jeff, this will be the first doubleheader for the Sounds this year. Is that right? As you talked about start times being all over the board. So this will be 2 7s. Is that the way they do that?
Yep, 2 7s. It was supposed to be a 7:05 start, but they moved it up to 5:05, as most teams typically do. So yeah, 2 7s at 5:05 should be fun pitching. It's Carlos Rodriguez, who's a big-time Brewers prospect, going for the Sounds in Game 1. And this Memphis rotation is full of Cardinals prospects. Gordon Graceffo is their starter in the first game. And then in the second game, it's Tobias Myers for the Sounds, who had 10 strikeouts his last outing. And another Cardinals prospect, Adam Kloffenstein, who was a part of a trade last year at the deadline with the Blue Jays. Cardinals have really tried to reload. We know about Sonny Gray being in St. Louis. They really quickly, between draft picks and waiver claims and trades and then free agent signings, very quickly have tried to reload on some arms. And like I said, the Sounds play Memphis 24 times this year. They're always fun matchups. It's the Brewers-Cardinals component. It's the Nashville-Memphis component. And then just the quantity of games. So a lot of opportunity to see these Redbirds this year.
Is this the earliest you can remember Nashville and Memphis playing, Jeff?
We were here pretty early last year, as you say that. I'm going to try not to take us off on tangents with our schedule and our visits this year, guys, because there are parts of it that just don't make a lot of sense to me, as far as who we play, when we play them, how much we play them. But this part is not, I don't think, that out of the ordinary to see Memphis this early.
Okay.
We did it last year, and I'm sure there were times in previous years. So that part of it, I don't think is that uncommon.
Okay. You mentioned Carlos Rodriguez, 9-6 down at Biloxi last year with 152 strikeouts. So this is obviously a guy that the Brewers are keeping an eye on. He's a number 8 in the organization as far as prospects go. Making his second start, third appearance. What are you looking for out of him tonight in this short stint?
Yeah, I think the big thing for him is he's walked a few guys in each of his first 2 outings. He's got all the pitches. He's one of those guys that's not overpowering with his fastball. He's just got the wide array of pitches, typically has good command, and the walks have hurt him in his first couple of outings. Not the first time that a young pitcher new to AAA would have a little bit of a get the feet wet period. So I think he's going to be fine. He's got all the ingredients. He works really hard off the field. He wants to be great. He, and along with the Sound of last year, Robert Gasser, were the Brewers co-minor league pitchers of the year last season. And we saw Carlos for just 1 outing the final week of last year. So he is very new to AAA. He's only 22 years old. So it might take a little bit, but he's got all the ingredients. And I think tonight it's just a matter of being in the strike zone, and if you get burned with hits because you're throwing so many strikes, that's a better problem to have than creating problems with.
Jeff Ham of the Nashville Sounds joining us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by TOA of Columbia. Jeff, we appreciate it, man, and look forward to seeing you when we see you. How's that?
And as the president of the Jeff Hem fan club, just want to tell him to be safe,
Yeah.
I don't think he can hear us.
No, I think we lost him. So Let's go ahead and get to a break, producer Mark. And when we come back, it's time to talk a little Braves, I guess.
Let's do it.
Yep. Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
We thrive under the lights. A city of performers, putting on one heck of a show. Headlining night after night. Welcome to Smashville.
April 12th, 1955. Pinch hitting for Warren Spahn in the eighth inning. Chuck Tanner homers on the first pitch he sees as a major leaguer. His solo shot was followed by a Hank Aaron RBI triple and a Bobby Thompson sacrifice fly to rally the Milwaukee Braves past visiting Cincinnati 4-2. Tanner went on to a lackluster playing career, but managed 17 full seasons with the White Sox, Athletics, Pirates, and Braves, winning the '79 World Series with the We Are Family Pirates. That was this day in Braves history. We're not going to talk a whole lot about yesterday's results, other than to say that Luis Guillorme made his Braves debut on the mound. That's utility infielder, Luis Guillorme, making his Braves debut on the mound.
It was not a good day.
It was not a good day. It started bad and got worse. And
Yes, for everybody.
and I think, you know, on paper, Alan Winans versus the Mets sounded good. I think he made his major league debut against the Mets last year in a spot start and was really brilliant in that one. I think he won a couple of starts against the Mets last year. He's a former Mets farmhand, but he had not thrown in 9 days. And
I don't know why they threw him yesterday anyway. I don't know why you wouldn't have just thrown Freed.
was it Freed today?
Yes, because Winans was scheduled for
Wednesday
when it rained out.
Right. Yeah.
So why would you not just push him and be done? I mean, I know that he hadn't pitched in 9 days. Like, I get that, but like,
well, I mean, you could have just as easily sent him back down too.
Sure.
I mean,
I don't know where Gwinnett was, but
yeah, I mean, I don't know what the situation was, but like I said, he kind of got knocked around a little bit. The Braves made some uncharacteristic
yeah, I think
defensive miscues as well. It just didn't look like it looked like one of those rare days when they just weren't ready to play.
yeah, or nobody wanted to be there.
Yeah,
And the crazy thing, even for the best teams, those sometimes, I mean, that's the way I'd look at it, is sometimes those days do just happen, unfortunately.
And I'm not sure if I don't necessarily, if it's going to happen, I guess everybody having that day on the same day is probably better than, everybody having it one day at a time.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, get it out the way
and
on
move
April
on.
11th.
Yeah, move on.
And go to Miami and sweep, since we don't have to worry about seeing Ryan Weathers after he picked up his first victory a couple of days ago. So we don't have any sentimentality as it relates to the Marlins. Go down there and take 3, and then
He picked up his first victory in Yankee Stadium.
Yes.
That's good stuff.
Where his dad played in '96.
I knew his dad was a Yankee at one point.
Yeah, he's 1-1. So
Well,
that first victory.
He was almost everything at one point.
Well, yeah, he is a
Long Wikipedia page.
He's a cheat code on Immaculate.
Yeah.
If you don't know, just
throw David Weathers.
You got a pretty good shot.
That's wild. No better news for the Astros.
No is the simple answer. But you guys know me. I'm a glass half full guy. And I loved what I saw from Gray Kessinger on the mound yesterday for Houston. He comes in the bottom of the 8th.
Speaking of position players, pitching.
Yeah. That's where I was going. He comes in the bottom of 8th and gets a 1-2-3 inning. Now, the only bad part about that is, he's a third baseman.
You love what you see out of the guy. And matter of
You
fact,
just don't want to see it.
And that's what I was going to mention with Atlanta's situation. Outside of the viral content that could come of it, there's 2 ways a position player pitching is going to go. It's either really good or really bad. Yeah. And for both of our teams yesterday, it was on the very bad. Houston, they gave up 9 runs in the bottom of the first. The good news about baseball is, unless you are there working the game or you just have to be at the stadium for some reason, you give up 9 runs in the first inning, guess what? We're just, you got to tune in the rest of the day. Just chalk that one up to a loss and just move on.
Well, I guess in the glass half full vein, you gave up 9 runs in the first inning, but you only gave up 4 the rest of the way.
Hey, now that's a little something. And 3 of them came in the 7th. So, before Kessinger, the fireballer, got on the mound. So
you bounced back a little bit.
Yep. And that's the crazy part. And I don't know how the end of the season is going to turn out standings wise, but as it sits right now, by just the standings alone, that's not a horrible loss in the sense that Kansas City is playing so well, including 8-2 at home now.
And that was their 7th straight win. So
so they're, again, I don't know, at the end of the season, they could be at the bottom of the standings and you're saying, man, that was a really bad series for us. But right now, it's more you're worried about how bad Houston played, but you got to give Kansas City a little props too. The other bad news, as we talked over lunch today, is They got a big series looming. They're right back into a series with the Rangers, luckily at home, but versus the Rangers this weekend.
Yeah, you know, Jeff in the last segment talked about scheduling. It's interesting that Houston and Texas just played, 4 this past weekend?
Yep.
Because it was a wraparound
Yeah,
series.
it was Thursday to Monday, I think.
Thursday, Friday. No, it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
That's right, Friday to Monday.
Yeah, and now you're coming right back. So, I mean, if there's any bad blood lingering from that last series, it's not getting a whole lot of time to go away.
I was going to say, I think Houston's problems are kind of beyond that, and I haven't read them, but there's a couple articles about the pitching is basically as bad as it's been in 10-plus years.
Is Valdez hurt?
Valdez is hurt, which is why they called up the prospect the other day.
Oh, yeah.
So they've been scrambling a little bit.
Not the hottest prospect.
Not the hottest prospect.
No.
In baseball, Louisiana hot sauce.
But with that being said, if you weren't in such dire straits, I'd say this would be a classic situation where maybe tonight you just come out and you just plunk 1 or 2 guys and just try and get something going just to spark and revitalize it. But the bad news is they are last in the division. They only got 4 wins, and so they can't really afford to do anything to jeopardize not getting the win. The only saving grace is the West is not really just running away with Major League Baseball right now. Texas leads, but they're 7-6. The Angels are somehow 6-6.
Despite overrunning second base on a stolen base attempt.
Oh my gosh.
I missed that.
Oh my gosh. Ron Washington called it an embarrassment for everybody.
And he's right.
Yeah, they were down 1.
They would no 4-2. It was 4-2 in the 8th when Joe Adele takes off for second. And I think there were 2 outs.
Yes.
And overslid or just
overran?
No. Overran?
Did not slide. Overran.
Had it standing up, just didn't stop on the base. Had the bag standing
Had
up.
the bag. Comes off. Stunned shortstop tags him and walks off the field for out number 3.
It was embarrassing.
It was. I mean, and
And
kudos to Ron Washington for saying it. And this is what you're going to get, Angels, all year. So if you're going to play stupid games, win stupid prizes, because Wash is going to call you out on that every time. And that's why we loved him in Atlanta.
Yep. And I was just getting ready. Group text earlier this week, someone had joked and said, will Mike Trout hit more home runs than the Angels win games? But you could also make a case for Alvarez and the Astros right now, the way they've been playing. So, like I said, that's the only saving grace is that division is all jumbled up right now.
I have more faith in the Astros.
You would think
getting it right than I do in the Angels getting it right.
And I don't even necessarily care if you told me this was their record right now, and they were losing a lot of 1-run games and the offense was humming along and their just pitching is not doing so great, I'd be all right with that, At least give me a little something to get excited about. But they have not played well in the offense. They're 19 runs to the negative in differential right now. And their offense is not living up to its usual standards, which is kind of disappointing.
You know who else ain't living up to their usual standards?
Scott Boras.
And Jordan Montgomery took that personally. The recent Arizona Diamondbacks free agent signing fired Boras here recently, according to an article by a friend of the show, John Parado on heavy.com. Montgomery was one of 4 Boras clients tabbed the Boras 4, who signed smaller contracts in free agency than expected this offseason. All late. Giants lefty Blake Snell, the reigning NL Cy Young Award winner, by the way. Giants third baseman Matt Chapman and Cubs outfielder Cody Bellinger did not come to terms with their current teams until late in spring training. Montgomery, in fact, is still with Arizona's AAA team down in Reno getting ready. I think he's scheduled to start a week from today, maybe April 19th, after pitching for Texas last year en route to that World Series championship. But I wonder if the The bloom is off, Mr. Boris. Bellinger signed for 3 years and $80 million, re-signing with the Cubs. Snell signed with the Giants for 2 years, $62 million. Chapman, $54 million over 3 years. But again, all of those went really, really late, as I don't know if Boris overestimated their market or if folks are just getting tired of dealing with Boris.
Both.
He just ain't got that juice, same juice that he used to have.
I mean, look, the reason is very simple. Juan Soto, Manny Machado did not play to the level of their contract. Now, they're great players, but neither of those two players played to the level of their contract. And so now,
which it would have been tough to do so.
Right. He put them in an impossible situation, and they got paid, but it was at the expense of future players. And I'm sorry, but that's no longer an option. You're not going, if Scott Boras says you're worth this, you're probably not. Because this guy clearly doesn't know. So,
well, or he does know, but he's just trying to get his guy the last dollar. And I don't know that it's always worth it to get the last dollar.
No.
When you're talking about the money that you're talking about, particularly.
Right.
So let's take a break here, as we have reached the top of the hour and gone a little past it here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. When we come back to the Lee Company Studios, we'll be talking some hoops, one team in particular. Looking forward to this discussion. Stay with us when we come back.
We thrive under the lights. A city of performers, putting on one heck of a show. Headlining night after night. Welcome to Smashville.
Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily, as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
The second hour of the weekend update here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by TOA of Columbia. Maurice Patton, Wade Neely, Chris Yao coming to you from the Lee Company studios here in Columbia. And question, why does Big Blue Nation hate Mark Pope?
Man, that is a good question, but does it not
turn your
feel-
microphone on?
Thought we did that.
We'd like to be able to hear you.
It is on.
Well,
It's
it must
got
have been
blue
muted
lights,
because we couldn't hear you. So
try it again.
How about now?
no, just tap it one time on the bottom. There we go.
There you go. Now,
Oh, you know, now
say what you just said.
let me get situated here. But yeah, it feels like everybody hates this hire. Anybody that's a Kentucky quote unquote fan,
I don't
right?
think it feels like.
I can count on one hand the number of sane or rational Kentucky fans in my life, and they might be the only 5 that exist because everybody else is pretty much bashing this hire from top to bottom. It seems like the national media at large is kind of almost taking the stance of, hey, I think this could be a good fit, but Kentucky's saying, oh, no, this is not necessarily what Big Blue Nation wanted. And here we are, and it's one of those just unfortunate situations where a guy's walking in. We knew it was going to be lofty expectations, but before you even get on campus, you're already kind of hated by a segment of the fan base at this point, it seems like.
A large segment. And I think it's expectations, and we'll get a little bit more into that here in a bit. But I mean, I don't think Kentucky ever expected to hire the coach from Brigham Young University under any circumstance.
Well, I mean, on Tuesday, Blake Lovell said that he was an option. You know, he threw out the name, and you know, obviously as a backup to the 3.
Certainly as a
other
fallback,
names.
yeah.
But I mean, I understand that he's never won a regular season or conference championship. He's never won a game in the NCAA tournament, but he's been at BYU. He had them in the top 20 this year.
And BYU is in the – are they in the Big
Conference?
Previously WCC, obviously getting ready, or became Big 12 this year.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they were WCC before.
So when they
During
were
the bulk of
WCC,
the bulk of his run.
that was Gonzaga and
St. Mary's.
Okay, all right.
Hell of a league, I think, when those 3.
Again.
Right.
I mean.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm speaking to that point there. It's
and Utah Valley prior to BYU. So, I mean, it's not like he's had the opportunities. I think there are a lot of parallels that can be drawn between Kentucky hiring Mark Pope and Tennessee hiring Kim Caldwell.
To some degree, maybe. I mean, the difference being that, you know, Kim Caldwell has had success at a very much higher clip than this guy. But
yeah.
But you know, I don't think it's a terrible hire. Here's the thing. One, he's a Kentucky guy. He knows the program. He knows the lore. And all of the people that matter like it. And that's the don't.
That's the thing, though, that kind of gets me about this. I mean, again, he is them.
The fans of Kentucky, they are not excited about a guy who isn't the Nick Saban. And they weren't going to be excited about Scott Drew either. I mean, they would have taken it and been like, okay, let's go. But
So it was all or nothing for Hurley then,
I think so.
from a fan standpoint?
I think most of their fans thought they could get Hurley because
I think Kentucky fans thought they could get anybody they wanted to,
and they
wanted, yeah.
I saw a quote today, and I don't know if this is true, from Kentucky Sports Radio that Mitch Barnhart said that the coaching pool was more of a puddle. And
Well, I think that's fair when you look at, Hurley made it pretty clear Monday night he wasn't going nowhere, or more specifically, Mrs. Hurley wasn't going anywhere.
that's the big problem. I think the question is this: the question a lot of the fans have is, wasn't this hire there next week? Why not kick some more tires? Why not throw some more money at Billy Donovan?
Because, as we talked to Blake about, you get to a point where you can't get turned down. And I think maybe after Drew and Hurley and Donovan, maybe
they called Oates.
I mean, I think they had gotten to that point where, we need a yes. We don't need any more no's. We need a yes. I mean, it's like the guy going to the prom. I need somebody to say yes. I can't take getting turned down anymore.
And that's the crazy thing with searches, especially obviously the big time searches, right? Sometimes in your mind, you're willing to take a lesser, quote unquote, lesser candidate on your hot list or whatever,
just to get
the yes, to get it done, and just to kind of keep your cachet, if you will.
Right.
Hey, we don't get turned down when we make an offer, we get accepted.
We only made one offer. And it was accepted.
And did I see that right though? That they did throw. I mean, they did supposedly throw a massive contract at Hurley.
They did.
Was it $100 million? Is that what I saw?
It was a very, very large. I think it was $11 million a year.
The number that I saw was $11 million a year. Now, I don't know that was confirmed. I don't know how true it was, but that was the number I saw.
And so
that's an absurd number.
So I mean, think about this, right?
I don't know how you turn that down.
Apparently, the boardwalk is too important.
I mean, the biggest thing for me,
$11 million a year, she can go back.
She could fly there every day.
Every day. She could, yeah.
Every day.
So with UConn and with Hurley, obviously, yes, the money was out there. And so a couple of takeaways on that, at least for me, is you can rest easy if you're the administration at Kentucky. Hey, we threw the biggest number possible at the best coach right now. And if he says no, we did everything we could. That point number one. But number two, with Hurley specifically, kind of gets into that situation, right? The statue is not out in front of the building just yet, but they're already maybe contacting some local artists and saying, hey, get ready. We got a statue for this guy coming.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you leave that other than, obviously money and potentially a small step up in reputation, because UConn is slowly, maybe not even slowly, they're thrusting their way into that combo as well now.
Right, because when you say a small step up in reputation, a small step up from the two-time defending national champion.
So it gets back to that age-old question. Do you want to stay and just be the guy forever? I mean, he's basically minted for life right now at UConn, right? I mean, obviously we thought that about Calipari too, but
I mean, Jim who?
Yeah.
I mean, Calhoun is far in UConn's rearview mirror at this point.
It's Hurley's world up there, and everybody's living in it. And man, he's got a great setup. So it was crazy because it seemed like, at least on social media chatter over the last couple of days, that he declined it pretty flatly after that first overture. But then once that number kind of got out there, it seemed like he at least said, well, how much money did you say?
Wait a minute, you said what?
Yeah, just enough to, and that's kind of what you got to do, right? You at least got to throw a number out to make him say no at that point. And the point, final point on the search, I guess, is kind of like Blake touched on, and we discussed. You don't want to get turned down too many times. What happens if you wait another week? I think the Bulls are now clinched, maybe even the 6th seed, which would put them out of the play. So they're now in the official playoffs. So, how long of a waiting game are you willing to play for a guy that ultimately may end up saying no anyway? And then who knows what happens then?
And the X factor to that is the transfer portal is not waiting for Kentucky to hire a coach.
No, they're not. But, it's year one's going to be kind of tough either way. So you just kind of have to, you're going to have to figure it out in year one and hope that you can fix it in year two. AP headline from 9 hours ago: Pope will travel to Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, East Timor, and Singapore in longest trip of papacy. Keith Pointer from Louisville. That's a heck of a recruiting swing off the bat.
I see what you did there.
That's the thing is you said white smoke earlier, and I'm like, the jokes will write themselves.
Absolutely. Here's one thing that ain't no joke. On a scale of 1 to 10, how hot is the seat that Mitch Barnhart occupies?
This is
because here's the deal. The way this thing is being framed is, and I don't know if it's fair or not, but I saw it from 2 or 3 different folks on social media last night. You ran off a Hall of Fame coach.
He didn't run him off, though. He did not run them off. That is the toxicity of Big Blue Nation right there. The fans, the boosters ran John Calipari off. And Mitch Barnhart's going to pay for it. Did you see the report about their 2 biggest boosters in NIL at Kentucky? A former gubernatorial candidate attempted to use Oscar Tshiebwe in a political ad, and Calipari told her no, and they took all of their money out of the NIL fund because he didn't want the kid to have to
deal with that.
Yeah, put up with that.
I gained a lot of respect for John Calipari when I read that. I mean, a lot of respect. That was big for me. But that's the toxicity. Here's the thing. Say what you want to about Kentucky basketball. If Mark Stoops wins 10 games and makes the college football playoff, it won't matter.
You're probably right, honestly.
Well,
that's going to.
That's yeah.
But if he was to win 10 games and make the college football playoff,
well, with it's 12 teams now, right?
Exactly.
But I mean, that's got to be what Mitch Barnhart is hoping for, because I mean, man,
jail-free card.
He has
football to work.
Yeah. Needing Kentucky football to work is really a tough place for a Kentucky athletics director to be, though. So,
speaking of which, and Yao may be in the weeds even more on this, as he's prone to do. Kind of not a conspiracy theory, but connect the dots. Some folks had speculated that, we obviously see Calipari depart, that he maybe himself made one last overture for this mega contract, or he essentially there was a lot of friction between him and Barnhart. And he kind of, by offering one last potential offer for an extension, was maybe kind of somehow, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of poisoning the well almost, and saying, hey, if you turn me down, then obviously it sounds like he knew had the Arkansas offer. So he makes one last overture to Barnhart. And then now it's perfectly calculated almost that he magically ends up at Arkansas smelling like a rose. And now we're sitting here, and all of the chatter and all of the ire of the internet and obviously Big Blue Nation is on Barnhart. As you mentioned, to your point, the seat, I don't have a number for you, but it's probably at least 5+, I would think, right? And
it's on the higher side of 5.
I mean, it's going to be 7 or 8 maybe. And let him catch an exhibition loss to some random team to start his tenure, and then we'll really see what happens.
The thoroughbreds, Kentucky State comes in and wins.
Yeah. Let Georgetown get in there again and win a game, and we'll really see what happens. But And then as soon as I was thinking about all this process, Yale comes back and he makes a great point. And I'm sitting here wondering, what happens to Barnard if Kentucky football? I mean, if magically they made a run and won the national championship or got to the Final Four in football, like, do you really care at that point how your basketball team? I know they're quote unquote a basketball school, but would you really care at that point?
But at that point, Mitch gets to stand up and say, "We are a football school."
Yeah, you could. Yeah,
Cal.
Yeah. There's a number of ways the PR game can be battled here, and I do feel bad for Pope. Obviously, man. On paper, you obviously are thinking, okay, I don't want to replace Calipari, right? And it kind of reminds me also, as you mentioned with Tennessee, it reminds me of the Alabama situation with football with Saban. And there was a lot less, which again, I don't dive in the weeds super deep on the internet, but it seemed like a lot less backlash with the Boer coming in than I was maybe originally anticipating. This is exactly kind of what I was almost anticipating with the Alabama
right.
that we're seeing play out right now. And it stinks because obviously he is one of their own. I mean, he had success as a player, and he's got a solid track record as a coach, even though he doesn't have a few key distinctions on his resume.
Absolutely. Y'all, we got Dean COKINOS in the green room. We have made him wait too long already. So let's take a break. Let's come back here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. And let's talk Nashville Cats 3.0 when we come back.
Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
We thrive under the lights. A city of performers. Putting on one heck of a show. Headlining night after night. Welcome to Smashville.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
weekend update continues here on Main Street Sports Today. I'm Maurice Patton. That's Wade Neely, and that is former Tennessee Valley Viper Chris Yao over there with his own camera shot.
I forgot that this is green.
Yeah, see through.
Lord.
Former kick returner.
There we
for
go.
the Valley Vipers.
Yeah. Well, at least he didn't get tackled up against the net like C.J. Johnson did a few years ago. But joining us now is Nashville Cats head coach Dean COKINOS. Dean, does that jersey look vaguely familiar to you?
Oh yeah, it brings back a lot of really great memories. Actually, quite a lot of victories in that building, and Chris was there to see most of them and critique most of them. And
oh yeah,
so
COKINOS.com until
it was we had a lot of good players there, and it was really one of the best stops I've ever had in this deal, and coaching arena football and just in general. A great city to live in. We love Nashville, and it always holds a big place, in my heart.
We've answered one question.
Yes.
Yeah.
He does remember.
It's hard to forget. But see, what Coach COKINOS doesn't know is it was never really personal for him. I just wanted Coach Selesky to have the job, and they didn't give it to him. And so, because I had a little personal relationship with Coach Selesky, and so when Dean got it, I was like, this guy sucks. And then all they did was go win it all.
There you go. And
yeah, he's over there like,
hey, so here's the deal, guys. So when you do this, we teach players to avoid block out the noise, and so. And we kind of did that with Chris, and no, in all fairness.
No, that's okay. We do the same thing here. Don't feel bad. Yeah, we block out the noise with Chris a lot, Dean. So,
hey, look, he's an excellent writer. He really wrote some good pieces on us, and we appreciate everything he did. It's all in good fun, but it was all part of the experience there.
Coach.
Yeah,
passionate.
Passionate. I love it. Passionate. Good stuff.
Dean, what I'm trying not to hold against you is you are a former teammate of Pat's Perduto's.
Oh no, yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah, he's super. I think the world of Pat, and welcome back to Nashville. As you said, you've spent a lot of time here. Former assistant coach at the high school level with both Brentwood Academy and Ensworth, in addition to your arena ball exploits. But did you ever think you would find your way back to arena ball?
Well, not really. So I never left Nashville. I came here to work with Pat, and in 2004, when we were owned by the Titans, and the second version of the Cats was beginning to get launched. So, and I moved here, and we stayed, and it's my community now. I'm raising my family here, and but yeah, no. When I got out, when it was about 5 years ago or so that I coached my last game in arena football. Never thought I would get back. I was very, very happy at Brentwood Academy, then Ensworth, and had the opportunity to be the head coach at Knoxville Catholic for about 5 months, and I had to step down for personal reasons, but I was very, very excited just to be in the high school private sector, some really good football, but I'm really excited about this opportunity. We got a kind of a special thing going here, and to do it the third time and be part of it again is pretty neat.
You guys started preseason workouts, I guess, this past weekend. So you've had a little time to be around the guys. The guys have had a little time to be around you. What are you seeing that you like to this point as you guys point toward your April 27th season opener?
Yeah. Well, I really like the players that we've gathered, it's been I think it's important to note it's been a really fast turn. I wasn't sure I was going to do this, and after meeting with Coach Fisher and the group, it took a few meetings, but, once I realized that Jeff was going to be all in and we'll do this, we agreed, and it was January, I think, before we even got launched for me officially. So, fast turn, but I think the biggest thing I did here was hiring Adam Shackelford. Chris will know him. One of the best arena football games ever played, and a lot of respect for him over the years. It was what he's done for all the stops he's had, and he's been a big, big part of helping me build this team I've been out 5 years. Haven't had anything to do in arena football or indoor football, and getting reconnected with Adam and the players. We built a pretty talented roster, so I think I'm most excited about the players, which I always am, because the players are the reason why we do it and why you win or lose.
Indeed, speaking of the players, kind of coming into this new role, obviously you've been around the game for a long, long time, but with such a new kind of endeavor, have you got a full grasp of the talent that you have on your hands? And if you don't have it now, how long will that process potentially take in your mind?
Oh, we got a lot. We got a lot of it. I think we have everything we need. It's just not many of them have played indoor or arena football. So that's the challenge right now. It's teaching them teaching them how to play this game. I think that's going to be our biggest challenge. But the talent's here. That's a good blend of different type of athletes, and we're on a fast track to try to get these guys up to speed in the arena football. So we got a lot of work ahead of us.
Chris was, I'll save that question for you, but he was kind of giving us a rundown at lunch today of some of the guys on your roster. And he may ask one or two questions about particular players, but I guess in your mind, any particular unit group that you guys are going to maybe really hang your hat on either to start this season or as the season goes along?
Well, I think as Chris could tell you, arena football, for me, that's always been pass rush. What number you were in there, Chris? 9?
No, I'm not wearing Eric's number or Terrence Ford's. This is Chris Bocage jersey.
Okay, because yeah. So, but we always built our teams with a pass rush, and I'm very excited with the group we have here, and the back end as well. And offensively, we're pretty good up front, really deep there, and we have 3 deep stable of quarterbacks as well. And, the biggest challenge there is none of them played arena football. Ramon Atkins has played in the indoor league, but we're pretty thick everywhere right now. And, I think it's going to just be competitive. But we'll see what we got here in another week or so.
Well, and I was going to ask you about your quarterbacks because as we all know at this point in football in general, it's a quarterback-driven game, but nowhere more important than in the indoor game, particularly arena football. And, you've got some guys with a little bit of experience indoors, but, when you've got guys as talented as Cooper Callis and Charlie Brewer, who come out of, one of them's a former Power 5 guy, both of them played in the CFL. It seems like you've got some guys who can really compete and be high-level guys at this, in this iteration of AFL.
Yeah, they really are, Chris. You just nailed it. They're all of them had great careers in the big field, and different types of talent. But at the end of the day, they're all really super talented quarterbacks. Ramon's been indoors a little bit, and it's exciting to see these level of players here all in one place. You go through the years that I've done this. Outside of my stop here with the Cats, and when we had Sterner and Smoker and a lot of those guys. This is pretty deep level of quarterback play we have right now. It's been pretty competitive.
Well, I mean, Ramon was offensive rookie of the year in the IFL, in 2022. So clearly some experience and guys who understand, if for nothing else, he can teach those other guys a little bit of an insight of the indoor game. Of course, when you've got Adam Shackelford, as you mentioned, Coach, I mean, this is a guy who's got more rings than I've got fingers. And so, one, how did you get Adam Shackelford to come to Nashville and coach with you?
Well, Billy, we were friends long before that game. When I worked here with the Cats, he was in Louisville, and it was Arena 2 when he was down there working the offense, I believe. And, we're here with the Cats and the Titans. But, our season ended before the Arena 2 season, and we'd take road trips. We'd cut up who would go where to recruit the Arena 2 players. And I always, I had at Tennessee Valley or Louisville, and Adam always had a really good roster down there, and he was good with players. And he would come up to our camp here in Nashville, when we practiced over at the sports park, the Bubble. And we've just been friends, since 2004, and a lot of respect for him. And we've kept in contact through the years, and just an opportunity. He came out for the coaches convention, And, we met, took him to lunch, and, he asked if he'd be interested in working together, just in personnel. We're going to do, he's going to help out. And, one thing led to another. And as this thing grew and started to escalate and we started to grow, and the support we've been getting has been tremendous, it just worked out where I think his wife said, okay, you're allowed to go. And once that happened, then he's here helping us full time now.
Yeah. Well, it was a heck of a get. There's no doubt.
No doubt.
My goodness, what a coaching staff you've put together. Who else is on the staff that
Cause Mario, your friend Cause, our D coordinator, and
come on.
CJ Johnson, he played for us, and Wes Stevens.
Wow.
We got quite a crew. I got a few of the guys from Ensworth. I had the opportunity to work with some really good football coaches at Ensworth High School. I have two of those guys coming over and helping. One of them, Nick Johnson, played for Coach Fisher with the Rams back in the day. So we got quite a connection going, with me and Jeff and my former players and coaches and some of his guys. So it's a unique group.
You've got Wes Stevens coaching.
I'm just killing it with you today, man. I love it, Maurice.
I covered Wes when he was at MTSU, former McGavick standout. Great dude, man. I'm happy to know that he's back in it again. We had CJ Johnson on a couple of weeks ago, right before he went on his international trip with his family. But I really like the ability that you all have had to bring back some former Nashville Cats, some guys who are familiar to the community, and with what you've done with the roster as well, as far as local guys and that kind of thing. I would imagine that's going to really resonate with the fan base.
I think so. So that was our goal starting this thing. We want to try to build it inside out with local type players, whether it's they were born here, played high school here, expanded out, or came here to play college football. And we've done a pretty good job, I think, in a short period. That's going to continue to grow. We had the open tryout at Lipscomb Academy a few weeks ago, and over 100 guys showed up for that. And, right now we're pulling guys back for a second look. So, I think we'll just continue to keep growing. Getting the national search going and getting indoor players coming here that have been in the arena, and Chris can tell you, until you've been in an arena and played, it's just different. It's like, I think the first thing you learn is the walls over, I don't know how many years now, Chris, 40 years. They haven't lost one fight or bout.
No,
so they win every time.
Not
and having guys that have been in the arena was important to us too. And guys like Ramon and a few of the other guys, but communities, I live here, this is my community, and we're all about that first. And we'll continue to grow within as this franchise starts to grow.
Dean COKINOS, coach of the Nashville Cats, joining us here on Main Street Sports today. Dean, you talked about two of your quarterbacks having played on the big field. And, obviously Chris has all of the indoor football knowledge in this room. I've seen a little bit. But for the quarterbacks, that compressed area and obviously the compressed decision-making process that goes with that, how tough is it for those guys to, get acclimated to the relative lack of time compared to the big field that they have to work with?
It's difficult, and if anybody tells you that, they haven't been in it. So I think the biggest thing is spacing, right? Everything's not only faster, but the spacing changes, the angles change. When you play quarterback, you see it inside out, and everything now is happening instead of a 3-step pull. Sometimes it's a 1-step pull, and things start to break down. So adjusting to the spacing on your quarterback drops, the routes, and then just the width of the field is the big in the throws. The type of throws are different. Over the years, some of the best quarterbacks in arena football weren't strong arm guys. They were accurate guys. Guys get the ball out fast. They can throw a little softer ball, all different types of balls. So I think that really is just the mental thing. It's, they're playing at the speed of sound here sometimes. And when things go, their mind goes too fast. And I think the biggest thing we're trying to do is slow down the game for them mentally. And once they do that, then their physical ability takes over. We had a player, Kevin Eakin, get off the NFL field in Huntsville when I was there, when I left Nashville. And Kevin had, no experience indoors. It was a 5-year pro in NFL and CFL, quick release guy, tough guy, smart guy. Boy, he was awful the first 2 or 3 games. But I knew he has so much talent. Once the game slowed down for him, I knew he'd be excellent. He went on to play, I think, 5 or 6 years for me and won a lot of football games. So I'm hoping to do that with all of these guys we have here.
He's here now. You should just have him come over and tell those guys.
He's been here. He's been to the tryout, and he came to our opening camp. So he's been around. So
That's
he'll continue to come
fantastic.
around. So it's great to have him and just share his story, his journey. He's been a huge help. We got a lot of guys like Dan Alexander's been around.
I was about to ask about him because he lives up
Scott
here too.
Templefelter's been around. We've had a lot of guys pop in just to say hello.
It's crazy how all those guys you think about from that team that you were a part of and those teams in the early 2000s never left. It's crazy how many of them are still here.
Well, and he is.
Right. I mean, including you. It just goes to show that, it really is, in Nashville and the Middle Tennessee area, really has always been a great place to be. It's got to be good for recruiting too, by the way.
Yeah, it's great for recruiting. It's been one of the easiest stops recruiting wise, and I think once you're in Nashville and you've been part of it, it's just different here. It really is a community. It's a welcoming community. And once you're in it, most of those guys I just mentioned, came, played here, coached here, and never left. So, and I think one thing about arena football in most sports and most professions, once you develop that bond, and especially when you go through a journey where we're fortunate enough to win 2 championships with a lot of these guys with me, it's a lifetime bond. I've known a lot of these guys started as players, like Cos played for me in 2004. Mm-hmm. And we've been on a journey through coaching and him playing and coaching with me. To high school, we competed against each other in Division 3 AAA, over the last 4 years. And, he's like a brother to me. And so are these other guys. But it's just a thick, bond once you start this thing and you're close. It's like the game itself. You're in close quarters and you get to know each other as men and as people, as players and coaches. It's been pretty cool.
Hey, Dean, real quick before we get you out of here, you were talking about stories and journeys. I got to ask, which was more fun, being an assistant coach down in Livingston, Alabama, at West Alabama, or being involved with the Berlin Rebels over in Germany?
Berlin Rebels,
those are a little two different set of circumstances, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've been blessed and cursed, I guess, and I've got to travel pretty much all over the world. Every stop's been unique and it's been good. I loved it at West Alabama when I was there, and Berlin is really cool. It's a cool place. So and some really good football players out there. We've had two families come in from Germany to visit us here in Nashville already, and I've toured them into the high schools here, and they have people I've met over there have some sons now looking to play in America. So it never stops, man. You make these network and connections, and it just it continues to grow.
Hey, just because I'll never get to ask anybody this question again, what makes a good German football league player? What makes them special compared to other leagues?
Zwei Bier, bitte. 2 beers, please.
Okay. All right.
No. So one thing that's a joke over there. That's when you're an American, that's what they teach you. So what makes them, they're super athletic to begin with, but they're so dedicated mentally and focused. They're very, very coachable. They suck it up. They're like a sponge. All the information they can gather, to go with their ability, and they're just all in all the time, wanting to learn the game. And that's what I found when I was in Germany, is just this attention to detail. It's a new sport to them. They grow up playing soccer, and then football comes in. They just want to grow with it and learn with it. So it was a pretty cool experience.
Dean COKINOS, coach of the Nashville Cats Arena Football League team. They opened their season on Saturday, April 27th, at Municipal Auditorium against the Minnesota Myth. And then you got a quick turn, Coach. You go to the Albany Firebirds that Thursday, May 2nd. Next couple of games at home. Well, next game at Municipal, and the game after that is at F&M Arena on May 18th against the Georgia Force. The full schedule is on the website, thenashvillecats.com. Be sure and check that out. Coach, appreciate you taking some time with us. Look forward to getting out to Municipal and checking y'all out.
Thanks,
And just-
guys. Appreciate
and Chris-
it too. Yeah.
Just look for Chris. He'll be the one in the
In the
Tennessee
Vipers.
Valley Vipers jersey. So
There you go.
I love it.
appreciate it.
Thank you, Dean.
When we come back here to the Lee Company Studios on Main Street Sports today, we'll get Chris out of that jersey so you can, so you can concentrate. Final segment of the week. We'll let you know what we will be paying attention to this weekend when we come back on Main Street Sports today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. Stay with us.
I'm Maurice Patton, and on Main Street Sports Today, we bring you the voices of your favorite teams from preps to pros.
Otherwise known as the VOT, Mike Keith.
The bottom line is we can teach Will Levis woke.
I just don't know who's going to work with you on your base stealing now that EY's gone.
Well, that has nowhere to go but up. And I was just like, oh, guys, not again. Can we just bury that, burn that footage, and not bring it back?
No.
No. Thank you. We'll keep it going past the All-Star break, and looking forward to seeing how the rest of the season plays out. There's always a good story to tell.
Can you guess where I am today, Mo? Where am I?
It's not Reese Smith Field, is it?
Yeah.
Because anytime you play Chicago, you want to win. That's just
you got that right, and
that's
bottom
line.
be a buzz.
When you're walking the dog, you keep the bags that you need for the dog in the bag, and you don't even have to wear it. You can just hold it, which is what I do when I walk the dog. So
I think the fanny pack probably needed a little rebranding.
It did. It really did.
On your show logo, we've got to get a puck in there. There's a basketball. There's a football. There's a baseball. Maybe if not a puck, how about Mo brandishes a hockey stick?
Tune in daily at 2 p.m. on Main Street Media TV.
It's the final segment of the weekend update edition of Main Street Sports Today. We're coming to you from the Lee Company Studios here in Columbia. Maurice Patton, Wade Neely, Chris Yao, Sans Jersey.
He looks a little, he's back to his old self.
Well, he's back to his old self, and because there's no green in the jersey, you're not seeing his background on his chest. So you can actually see Von Braun. Is it Von Braun Coliseum? Is that what it is? Center. Von Braun Center.
And this is
all the new stuff.
Upgrades,
yeah, pre-Probst arena.
Yeah.
So.
This is the original.
The OG.
Yeah.
Exactly. Want to mention before we go any further in this segment, at Thomas Ashworth 0 tweeted about 40 minutes ago, Jacksonville State leads Arkansas State 1-0 in the winners bracket final after taking the traditional point 1,098 to 974. Everyone for JSU bowled a 200 or better. So the Gamecocks, stay cocky, I'll do it one time, are bowling for a national championship. And
they are currently they take the second Baker game 248 to 200, now lead the points 455 to 413. They split the first two Baker games. So obviously whoever wins the Baker game, if Jacksonville wins the Baker games, they'll advance. If they lose, then they'll have to, there's some sort of tiebreaker. I'm not sure how that works because we've not lost one yet. We've not lost a Baker's game yet.
Well, and this is the winners bracket final. So this is a double elimination event, I assume? Okay. So win or lose, Jacksonville State is not done, but good luck to the Lady Gamecocks. Besides this, Chris, what else have you got on your agenda for the week? Oh, you said it's wedding season, right?
It is, but it's also rivalry weekend for the UFL as Memphis.
In Birmingham?
Yep. Take the trip down I-22 And they'll take on the Stallions on Saturday.
The barbecue battle.
Yeah. The barbecue battle for sure. And some interesting.
Although I guess Arlington and Houston would say not so fast, my friend, right? Yeah. So. Do they play this weekend as well?
I'm not entirely sure.
Come on now.
I'm not sure who else plays in the
Dude,
NFL this weekend because I don't care because I'm only worried about one game.
Memphis and Birmingham.
Memphis and Birmingham. It is DC and Arlington on Saturday at noon.
Oh.
That one will be on ESPN. Memphis and Birmingham at 6 p.m. at Protective Stadium. That's on Fox. Houston and Michigan up in Detroit at Ford Field on ABC.
Not a barbecue battle,
no,
by the way.
No. Sunday at 11 a.m. Central Time on ABC. And then St. Louis and San Antonio. I guess that's not really. San Antonio is more Tex-Mex. They're not really worried about smoking meats.
Insert Charles Barkley joke here.
There you go.
Oh, or don't.
Or don't. I literally just watched like 4 of those clips last night. One of my friends came over to watch a Michigan hockey game, and he's like, "Hey, remember those jokes?" And I said, well, thanks to the powers of technology, we can pull them up right now. So we pulled them up. I'm not going to say whether we enjoyed them too much or not, but yeah.
That's all.
You can see the doubleheader on Sunday at 11 and 2 on ABC. You can hear any of these games on Sirius XM. Some interesting notes from the UFL, though, Mo. I don't know. The UFL is now presented by the U.S. Army for $10 million.
Oh.
That's a pretty good cash influx, right?
The U.S. Army spent $10 million to advertise with the UFL?
They have their logo on every jersey and on the field. Yeah. U.S. Army has long been a alt football
supporter.
Because, I mean, the Steel Dogs had U.S. Army patches back in the early 2000s. They just always have been. Because, I mean, the person who's watching that is probably a candidate. The cost for a 30-second ad, $65.70, $6,570 for a 30-second national ad on the UFL. And they have
Stop. Y'all realize how many ads you could buy on Main Street Sports today for $6,570?
Bingo.
All of them.
Every one. Yeah. Exclusively presented by. Yeah.
You would be our U.S. Army. We just run 4 minutes of your commercials.
The same one, if necessary.
Roll it.
Just loop it. Yeah.
Fox and Disney have booked $3.7 million in ad sales through the first 8 weeks of the season. So,
wow,
that's pretty big. I think this is
people will watch
this. Well,
good spring football.
Even the Stallions game was on ESPN last Saturday during the men's Final Four. 903,000 viewers. I thought that was incredible. I mean,
that's a higher number than I would have anticipated.
Right, almost 1 million people on a cable channel.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's on broadcast network, you kind of maybe, but for it to be on a cable and still almost 1 million, that was pretty impressive. So UFL looking good right now. It's pretty cool. That's what I'm going to be doing. And obviously it is wedding season, so I'll be on the 1s and 2s.
Final UFL point, and I see this kind of some sad news. Our guy Destroying is out. The kicker for the
he
had a neck injury.
He made a tackle and hurt his neck.
Done for the year?
Done for the year, apparently. And it was one of those, you're hoping that it was not that severe, but yeah, he's out for the season. Ooh. Between him and Wing, those two was going to be enough at some point this year to get me to tune in to one of the games, and I'm kind of disappointed to hear that now.
And our lineman that caught the thick six.
Don't tell me he's out now.
Well, no, I don't know. I'm just saying.
That's the only thing we got to cling on to now.
Yeah,
as long as him and Wing can maybe still keep the thick six connection alive, that'll be enough to get me to tune into a game or two this year.
We've not talked a whole lot of NSC of late. They are off this weekend before they go to Inter Miami a week from tomorrow.
Could probably use that, huh?
With or without Messi. I guess.
Messi should be there for this one. He won't be at the one in Nashville later this year. But yeah, NSC, all I'll say about that is the natives are getting a little restless. And there was some preseason chatter about coaching and GM direction. And it hadn't got off to a great start. So don't be surprised if that kind of ramps up in the next couple of weeks.
Okay. All right. What else you got going?
I'll tell you what, pretty pumped about this.
Are you going to the Blue Jackets tomorrow night?
Will not be going to the Blue Jackets. Fingers crossed, still going to try and sneak in a last-second YOLO for the playoffs maybe after the fiasco we discussed on air yesterday. But I got to give a quick shout-out. Mama Neely and Papa Neely are celebrating their 40th wedding anniversary this weekend, which they're going to despise me for saying that on air. They like to keep that stuff just off the radar, but
it's 40 years.
It is 40 years.
40 years, and as a few, I've got a special surprise for them lined up for this weekend. I'm not going to spoil it here, but
don't.
But
because everybody will tell them
exactly, and they're probably watching this right now. But I will say this: that several people, when I've informed them, I feel a little upset because they are quick to point out they're like, yeah, that's a great accomplishment, especially considering they had to raise you for 37 of those years. And I'm just like, could have done without that. Yeah, so we'll be hanging with them, watch a little Masters, a little pimento cheese. It'll be a good weekend. Weather's supposed to be nice too, so looking forward to it. You, my friend.
Well, Noah's like, y'all gonna ask me what I'm doing? No.
I meant to let it linger a little bit more.
We don't want to talk about it.
That's okay.
Y'all get a good look at Mo's face.
Hey,
good look at Mo's face, y'all.
Hey, I did give you guys a lovely parting gift though. Monday at 2:20, Chris and Wade will be joined by Virgil Herring to wrap up the Masters. So
should be fun.
That should be fun.
For Sunday.
I'll see if I can pick it up.
Probably not.
From somewhere out in the Atlantic.
Enjoy, Mo and the.
Did you bring the bottle of champagne? Are we going to crack the champagne on the side like it was the ship, the cruise vessel?
I can't afford that.
Well,
I guess I could have got cheap champagne.
If we get that sponsorship money rolling in, we'll all be
that's $6,570.
If we get those 4-minute looping spots, we'll definitely be able to afford a lot of that stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. But no, I'm looking forward to some rest and relaxation and a little Woodford.
That's a good day right there.
Yeah. So,
but that's a good day. But it's gonna be multiple days.
It is.
We're picking up here.
Days.
So you'll be seeing my face and Wade all next week, unfortunately. But it'll be nice to get back into it and get a little rhythm going. And then on Friday I'll be done. And
how are you gonna do this for 5 straight days?
I don't know. I forgot how to talk.
No.
All I know is that jersey, that's only allowed today. May be the only day that's allowed in studio next week.
Well, we'll have some new stuff when Mo comes back too, hanging up on the wall. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Come back and check us out in a week.
In
plus.
a week,
and this place
might look a little different, huh?
Yeah, spruce it up.
Oh, so are we gonna try to go on the 27th for the myth?
I will certainly be there.
I'm going to be in Nashville already. I was going to raise the point, but I forgot they're not playing at Bridgestone anymore. Don't have to worry about a crossover with the Preds as far as arena battle.
Also don't have to worry about bundling up with the ice still down.
That's right.
That too. So,
man, it gets cold.
Yeah, I'll be there that weekend. I probably will cruise on over to Municipal. I haven't been there in a while.
Yes.
No.
Y'all, hold it down. I'll see y'all a week from Monday. These guys will be here Monday at 2 o'clock on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. I don't know which studios they will be in, but it'll be the Lee Company studios, wherever it is. So check them out. We'll talk